what'd you think about the race yesterday, buddy?
Well,
me too.
Okay. And it looked like the 24 could do it so easy,
Yeah, it didn't look like he ever had the strength.
Yeah.
When he caught somebody, he just passed them. I mean, they didn't seem to slow him up. He got 61 points. I don't think that's been happening but once or twice all year long. All 36 races, probably those 4 were probably the best overall as far as just plain getting points
everywhere they run
and finishing good the whole season. Even though all of them had bad races. All right, what'd you think about the race yesterday, buddy?
Well,
me too.
Okay. Well, I thought it was unusual that the 3 that had to win a race to get in the playoffs, they run 1, 2, 3.
No, and that made it that much more interesting. You know what I mean?
Well, it did, and
those were the 3 best cars. Okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They were, and of the 3, the 24 was better than the other 2.
Yeah.
If you get right down to it.
The 9 car done a good job. He got kind of screwed up there with them last caution stuff, and he come through that crowd pretty good. So
yeah.
He really worked hard to run 3rd.
Yeah, and and you bring it up. He worked hard to run 3rd, and it looked like the 24 could do it so easy.
Yeah, it didn't look like he ever had the strength.
Yeah.
When he caught somebody, he just passed them. I mean, they didn't seem to slow him up. His timing when he caught the people or where he caught them was good. He drove a super race. Okay?
He did.
But his car was so good that he could be in the middle of a turn, just turn left, and the car stuck. So
yeah,
he had it all together because he sat on pole, had the fastest lap. Led the most laps and still won the race.
Oh yeah.
So he got 61 points. I don't think that's been happening but once or twice all year long.
Yeah, and but that wouldn't have helped him if he hadn't won the race.
Well, it didn't make any difference. Still had to win the race.
Yeah, I don't know, Richard, but it was a good day.
Yeah,
had a good crowd, and
but it stayed interesting. To begin with, it was just everybody got in line as usual and run, and until they started making pit stops, cautions, then that kind of mixed up the crowd. Then right at last, we had some of the guys had stopped and got tires, and then somebody spun, and somebody
12, was 43.
Yeah, three or 4 of them, stayed out.
Yeah,
I mean, and they come in under caution. So some of the good cars was at the back of the pack, but they came through the pack good, and so it. Probably from halfway on, it was a pretty decent race because people was racing. But
it was interesting.
First half of the race, everybody, there might have been 2 or 3 people past each other, but there wasn't a lot of action. But then it turned out, and I thought it wound up interesting all at the end of the race to make it. When I went home, I said that was a pretty decent race.
Yeah,
and of course Martinsville. Usually puts on a pretty good race, and this was one of their better races.
I think one thing, Richard, for a short track, it's the first time that the tire wasn't a big difference.
Yeah. What happened there was the tires slowed down, but they didn't slow down a whole lot because at one time I think the 12 was leading with used tires, and the 24 was behind him with better tires. And they run that way a long time, and then the 24 got a chance to pass him, and so then the race was really over then because then they made pit stops, and the 24 beat the 12 out.
Didn't change position.
So the game was over then.
But I watched qualifying Saturday, and of course I watched practice, and some of them run like 50 or 60 laps. Just stay out there and run that. And they were just balls of rubber up on the outside groove, and they was before qualifying, the teams was getting the rubber off, and that didn't happen.
No,
and it was the same tire, so it had to be the temperature.
To begin with, I think the pit crew, the crew chiefs and stuff were worried about being it was so cool that they're going to wear the tires out.
Yeah.
But again, the track was cool, and the pace did not slow down like it does a lot of times.
Yeah,
so that made it that much more interesting.
I think the tire was the best tire we've seen in a long time for a short track.
As far as being equal, all the way through.
Equal.
Yeah.
And like me and you was talking just before this, there was probably 6 or 7 pretty good cars, and everybody else was on the same level, just according to where they was at on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And
the first 5 or 6 were there was a pretty good gap between the first 5 and 6 and everybody else. But the first 5 and 6 was pretty close. But from say 8th or 10th on back, all them guys run the same speed.
They run the same thing and raced all day.
And all day long.
I'd point out to you, they're 3 abreast, and they'd run a full lap 3 abreast, and
that's unreal.
Yeah.
But that goes to show when they done that the rubber on them tires wasn't coming out and rolling out, because the guys, even if they was all the way out, almost out of the groove deal, they still stuck good enough to be able to stay side by side.
But we're talking about the outside groove, but probably 90% of the passing was done on the inside.
On the inside,
by the good cars and the bad cars are also cars.
After a restart and stuff, them guys would try on the outside, and they'd run side by side for 7, 8 laps and stuff, and then the inside would finally overcome it.
Well, if you got caught on the outside, you're certainly looking to get back on the inside, I tell you that.
Every once in a while somebody'd be third and they'd be on the outside, and the first thing you know, they'd be back to 10th or 12th before they could get back to the inside. That's how close the cars were running.
But the 24, when he passed the 12, there was a car kind of in the way of the 12 and everything, and he roughed him up a little bit. But I think Blaney was smart enough to know that it wasn't intentional, and they kept talking about it.
We call them a racing accidents.
Yeah, but 24 got away from him where the 12 couldn't even make a run at him if he wanted to. So they ran and ran and ran, and it looked like the 12 was the best. But when the 24 got in front, he was just a tad better than the 12 car. Yeah, he was.
So anyhow, he wound up doing what needed to be done.
But okay, we've kind of went through that, and we're coming up. You're going to Phoenix.
I'm going to Phoenix.
I'm going to be in my chair, and
I'll wave at you on TV. Okay?
No, don't wave at me. I guess the best 4 cars are in the championship.
Overall, if you looked at how they run the whole season, in Martinsville and stuff, the 11 car had trouble and the 19 had trouble. So it was a good thing they'd already won a race in order to make it. But if you looked at the overall year deal, probably the best, all 36 races, probably those 4 were probably the best overall as far as just plain getting points
everywhere they ran
and finishing good the whole season, even though all of them had bad races.
So it's still it's 2 Chevrolets and 2 Toyotas, and in the past, Ford have been awful great
at Phoenix. Ford's been really good.
So there's a pretty good chance that the champion can run as far back as I don't know what and still win the championship.
The champion, the guy that wins the championship could run 4th or 5th as long as he beats
even further back than that. But
so really, there's 2 different races. There's a race to try to win the race, and then these 4 cars are in a race with just 3 other cars
to beat each other.
So they don't care if they run 30th, 35th. The big deal is beating the other guys.
Yep.
So again, we're going to look at it. We're going to watch 2 different races.
Yeah, and it, there'll be a lot of strategy planned, and just one false move or one caution or something can change every bit of the strategy. But it's always been like that.
Fate will step in and tell us who's going to win everything.
Yeah. And of course, it got this race coming up for the last race of the season, Richard. I guess it's gone pretty fast for us.
Well, it seemed to went pretty fast. It's been an up and down season, and I guess from my standpoint, for our team and stuff. I'm kind of looking and glad the season's over. No better than we run. Hopefully during the winter and stuff, we can get all our guys back together and get everything squared away and come out a little bit stronger and next year at Daytona and have a good year, because this year has not been a good year for us.
That's for sure, and it'd be awful good if they could have a real good race at Phoenix. That makes the winter.
Yeah,
that makes the winter shorter.
If you can run pretty good at Phoenix, then that'll last all winter long.
Yeah, exactly,
and get your morale up to get next year started.
Of course, going to Daytona in 26, the only way you can win all the races is win Daytona.
Win the first one. Yeah, we never did get all that done.
Okay, I hope to.
So we'll get together and discuss the Phoenix race next Monday or Tuesday when I get back.
I believe about Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, because I got to go to Vegas to the SEMA show, so it'll be a couple of days. So probably we'll do this on Wednesday.
Yeah, and everybody try to tune in, because what little we know, we'll try to tell them.
Well, you got a 25% chance of picking the right one, okay, because there's 4 of them. Right now, it's a toss-up, and there's no way to predict it or anything. It'll wind up being the guy that wins it is the one that's supposed to.
That's a tough question. The way the 24 run yesterday, you would say the 24. But racing probably owes Denny Hamlin one, as long as he's been running and good as he's run, and he's certainly a championship. He's certainly a champion without winning the championship, and maybe, I ain't going to say, one of the 4 will.
Well, they're really not dollar bills. They look like dollar bills, but they say $43. So they're $43 bills, okay? And you can have all you want for $10 a piece. So I'm giving you a break. Instead of paying $43 for a $43 bill, you pay $10 and get one.
Yeah, I went to the grocery store and they wouldn't take it for my groceries. I had to put it on credit.
Not really. Probably the last one we won
Ontario.
Beating Darrell in Ontario, California. And it was just a deal that whichever one of us finished in front of the other one was going to win the championship. Sort of like what championship is this year. So, the big deal, we run just as good as we could, and we run just a little bit better, wound up winning the championship.
Yeah, Ontario was big, and, it was 7 at the time. And then, of course, not trying to prove anything, it was pretty big with Terry in 84. We had to, I know when we got the white flag at Riverside, we had beat Harry Gant for the championship. But it just, but some of them was real close, and some of them was decided even before the season was over. And if they'd had that point system today, probably Denny Hamlin might have done it.
Could be.
I hadn't figured it out, but this system is certainly different from what we ran against.